Shalom, shalom, shalom. Call halal Yahweh Ba'Hashem HaMashiach Yahushai. Ba'Hashem Harakakadesh Barakatah Yahweh Barakatah Yahushai. Barakatham to the Akim out there keeping his word, truth, in all sincerity. Teaching the downfall of Esau, the 2/3, these heathens in this wicked kingdom. I just want to go over a dream that I had back in 2012. No, I'm slacking. Back in 2010. And I'm going to tell you about, visions and things that I've had in dreams and things that have come true. And, the Most High in the Bible, it says that, in the last days that the young men shall get visions and dreams. Slacky, I know I'm messing up the verse. Sorry, I'm on lunch and I'm just trying to make this real quick. Because I'm over here at the plantation. So in 2010, I had this dream. I was in Vegas. I was at a UFC fight. And, everybody just started running. And I was in the MGM Grand. And everybody started running. And, people was running, trying to get out the building or whatever, And me, not being like everybody else, I decided to climb through like a vent shaft to get outside. And I end up crawling through. And I'm getting to these bay doors that really aren't in this spot at the MGM Grand. But that's a little bit beside the point. So I get outside and I'm like on Tropicana and Las Vegas Boulevard. And while I'm, out getting outside, I'm looking for my sister and I'm looking for my wife. At that time, I didn't have a wife, no girlfriend, nothing. And the girl that I was looking for in my dream, I knew her name and everything, and she actually is my wife now. But in my dream, I was looking for my sister, which she's not my blood sister. Families just take you in. But in my dream, I was like, I just remembered. I was like, oh yeah, she's married and she lives in Boise. Now, so my wife, I was looking for her. And I was like, oh, she's okay. She's with her family. Now, when I was outside, I'm standing, which this is very spiritual. I didn't even realize it back then because I didn't know anything about, Israelites or Judah or nothing like that. I'm literally standing by a golden lion because outside the MGM Grand, they have a huge golden lion. So I'm like standing there and the world's on fire. I mean, there's stuff falling from the sky, melting people's faces, people running around screaming. And, there's like people in masks, gas masks with guns and stuff. So, I end up jumping in this van and a Hawaiian girl that I used to train martial arts and her mom jumped in the van. And, I'm like, I'm like, where's your husband and your son? We can't find them, so we're driving. I'm like, I got to go get my brother. So I'm literally driving from Vegas towards Utah, trying to go to Colorado. And we couldn't go through Utah because Utah was burnt down. It was so much smoke. We had to turn around on the highway, and we came back. And I mean, when I say on fire, I'm talking about everything is on fire. I'm talking about people's faces melting. And so we start driving back, and literally, we pull over. I find her husband and her son. They get in the car. They drink a gallon of water. And actually, I think one of them was driving in the beginning. And then I started driving because, they wanted to hug their family and stuff. So I'm driving towards California. And we get to this, roundabout where you're going through the mountains. And I'm like, we got to pull over. And I was like, we got to go up this mountain. We got to go up this hill. And they're like, why? I was like, we just got to go up this hill. Now, people still driving towards, California and stuff. We get out. We're going up this mountain. And there was very few people going up this mountain. I mean, maybe one. Maybe two, looking around. And we get to the top of this mountain. And these light beams come down. And it's like, boom, And, it's really bright. And everybody's running into the light. And they're like, come on. And, they call me by my American name. I'm like, they're like, come on, Aria. So I'm like, I want to go. But these big beings, at this time I didn't know about, Israelite. I didn't know anything about Israelites. I didn't know anything about chariots. I didn't know anything about the angels being black, but these sparkly beings come out and they black. They was so black, I thought they was like grayish, purplish, and they're big as heck, right? And they're like, they had to be like man, they was big. They had to be like 9, 10 feet tall, something. And they came out, and I believe it was like 3 of them. And they came and they told me, they were like, you can't go. Not that I was in trouble or nothing. You know what I mean? They were like, you can't go. They're like, you have to find 5 people just like yourself. And then you have to go around and you have to save people. So I'm like, I fall on my knees and I'm crying, right? And I wake up and I'm crying. Now, my whole life, I've been looking for like my father and them and stuff, I grew up in like foster care, I went through like, I had this life, man, this troublesome, like messed up life, and I've always had dreams and visions and stuff. And even my mom would always tell people, like, if he tell you something, listen, because if he tell you about dreams, he's like, it's true. She would be like, he's special. Even the way that she used to train me, she didn't train me like my brothers and sisters. She used to teach me about the RFID chip. I'm talking about as a little kid. She teach me about the RFID chip, teach me about clones and stuff that was going to be made. Even the games we played was like stuff where, it's like mental. Like she would like test me to see like maybe my cognitivity or something like that. Like it was not like any other kid, like the training, you know what I mean? And so for years, I told a couple people about this dream, and there's, a couple other people, they said I told a guy at the gym the next day about this dream. Oh, Salakia, before I get to that. So my sister, the next day, she picks me up to go to the gym. And I'm not allowed to tell her anymore about my dreams and stuff because she knows for a fact, that I'll tell her some vision stuff, some stuff. I'll be like, hey, I had this vision, this just happened. And, she'll actually call me and be like, you're right. She'll be crying, and she tells me, she's like, don't tell me no more dreams. Don't tell me no visions. And, out of respect, I just don't tell her, So she literally picks me up the next day. Now, she at the moment right now, and in my dream, when I was at the MGM Grand, it was like I wasn't associated with no gym, no fight gym, no martial arts, or nothing like that. So at this point, my sister that picked me up, she lives in Boise and she's married. My wife is not with me. She's basically, with her family and stuff like that. I'm not associated with no gyms. And it took me years to find out about these 5 people because, I'm thinking there's 5 people that's going to go around and help me save people. I'm looking and talking to people. I tell a couple people about my dream and stuff. And they're like, oh, maybe it's me. Maybe I'm supposed to help you find people. And about a year and a half ago, almost like 2 years, I got hit up by a hospital, because I was looking for my father. He had passed away, I guess he had passed away. And I found out I got 3 brothers and 2 sisters. And this is from my father's side. And the only way anybody could be exactly like you is if they come out your father's nuts. So everything in the dream so far has happened, except for the fire part. That's the only thing that I'm waiting on. Now, about saving people and stuff like that, there has been, I've been telling people like stuff like, the Most High give me a vision. Like one time me and my wife, we're standing, like the car kind of broke down because it was flooding and like everybody's cars was breaking down, and the tow truck came and picked up the car, or was picking up the car. And before the car was even hooked up, I had this vision in my head of the car falling off of the tow truck and rolling down the mountain. And I was going to run behind it and catch it. So I told my wife was standing right there behind the tow truck. I'm like, hey, don't stand there. The car's going to fall off the tow truck. The car wasn't even hooked up. So the car starts rolling up the thing, it's on the wire and it's like halfway up. And next thing you know, it snaps. Pow! And it starts rolling down the hill and it's raining bad. So I run behind it and I stop it. And then like another tow truck driver ran up the street. He was helping me. He jumped in the car, hit the brake. And the tow truck driver was looking at me crazy. He was like, that has not ever happened before. He goes, that was the strangest thing ever. So that's one thing. And then there's been there's a lot of different things that have happened, like I had more dreams that I want to tell you. tell you guys, but like right now, my mind kind of going blank, but I want to let you guys know, be prepared, because I honestly, something in my spirit is telling me that, this stuff is about to happen soon. There's fire falling out the sky, melting people's faces, people burnt up and all kinds of stuff. That stuff is about to happen real soon, because everything in my dream has happened. Everything. And the Most High has never lied to me. There's been times I'm like going to sleep and, even here, I'll finish this. I'm going to sleep and I'm like halfway asleep. And, I asked the Most High, I said, how do I know? And this was about a year ago too. I was like, how do I know if I'm yours? And he goes, if you were mine, you knew me since the womb. And I wake up and I'm like, oh, I should write that down. But I've always told people I've been talking to the Most High since I was in the womb for the longest. And there's no such thing as a coincidence, But there's even my mother-in-law was over our house dealing with a funeral thing, right? With her uncle had passed away or something. She's over our house and we're talking about, my daughter and stuff. And I'm telling her what's about to happen to her daughter. I'm like, look, she's like, because they want me to like bow down to women. And I'm like, no. And I'm at the table. I got my Bible out and I said, and her mom gets dreams too. And her mom's dream correlates with my dream. And I'm like, look, one day soon, I'm like, me and your daughter ain't going to be together. She's going to get a raise. She's going to get a promotion. And then she's going to get in a car accident and die because she's not listening to what I'm telling her. So, I've been telling them, listen, I don't want you to be put to death. The Most High going to put you to death. I told her, I was like, everything's going to look great. Like she's doing great in life. I said, it's going to look like I'm doing bad. And then out of nowhere, the Most High is going to raise me up. He's going to just raise me up. And sure enough, like not even that much later, me and my wife got into it, especially it was over my daughter. Women are wicked. Like, women don't think that you're going to defend yourself. So it's like, especially over kids, women be hitting you with babies in their arm and stuff. But we split up, not together. Not even a month or so later, she got a promotion. And I keep telling her, I'm like, look, man, you better be careful because, like right now I told her, I'm like, you ain't under my covenant. Like recently, the Most High done told me, I don't know if she's sleeping around, what she's doing. But, there's been several times that I believe the Most High was trying to kill her because I believe she committed adultery. Because even when we got in a car accident one day where the car was going on her side of the car, crashing into the wall, and I prayed to Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. I said, please don't take her. And somehow he turned the car around. I mean, we was right next to the car wall, turned the car around. And, it's like people still don't believe that. They'll be like, oh, you don't talk to the... Okay. One time, me and my wife arguing, and she's like, you don't talk to God, you talk to the devil. She's like, fuck your God. You know what happened to her? For 2 months, the Most High. I said, okay. I told her, I was like, what? I take my covenant off of you then. For 2 months, this bitch bled for 2 months straight. Like, no, just I didn't touch her. She's bled for 2 months straight. Then there's another time. What is it? Oh, there's another time, and this was about maybe 3-4 years ago. People don't believe that there's power in prayer. So she gets a letter in the mail from the doctor because, they go to OBGYN or whatever. And she's like, I open it up, I read it, and I'm like, yo, they said you have an emergency. You need to come in here. So I sit there, I pray, and the Most High told me, tell her that everything's going to be okay. Don't trip. So I told her when she came home, I was like, don't worry. The Most High, I already prayed to my Father. He said that everything's going to be okay. So she goes in, and she goes in to see the doctor. And the doctor, before you even going into the background, they're like, oh, we're sorry. We made a mistake. We apologize. Send her home. Then back in 2000, this one happened in 2012. I had this dream. I had a dream that and I've had this dream several times, and the Most High tells me, and I wake up in the middle of the night and I go tell her, hey, nothing's changed. Now, I had a dream in 2012 that the Most High told me her brother, her, and her father were all going to die. So, I woke up and told her, and I don't even know if I met her father yet. You know what I mean? But her father does stuff behind my back and goes and tells her, do this, not to listen and stuff. When the Bible says no man shall sit at the table with another man's wife. Everything he was doing is against my father. She's supposed to be listening to me, and he's over there telling her to do wicked stuff. And I even told, like, I haven't even like, I was eating one day, we're at Buffalo Wild Wings, and I got a vision on her brother, and I was like, somebody's doing witchcraft on your brother. And she's like, don't tell my mom, don't tell her. So I tell her, I message her mom, I'm like, hey, somebody's doing witchcraft on your son, whoop-de-whoop. So they end up finding a heroin needle in his room. And then later on, her son gets really sick and stuff. And I catch his wife injecting him with heroin, and he's really messed up. He's going through it, doing dialysis and stuff. So I'm like, yo, she's trying to put him to death, and, nobody was listening to me. Later on, even the doctors was like, hey, we just checked him, and his heart wasn't this messed up, and it's completely damaged. This is when he's about to die. We're in the hospital and stuff. And I told him, I was like, this bitch has been sitting there injecting him with heroin. You know what I mean? So he ended up dying. And I keep telling my wife, nothing has changed yet. I keep saying, you need to change. Your father needs to change. He needs to stop listening, having your mom run the house, doing all this wicked stuff because it's out of order. And, the Bible says, whoever doesn't love Yahweh Hashem Yahushai loves death. The wages of sin is death, So it's like, they say it several times. He says, if you love me, keep my commandments. For the love of God is to keep my commandments. But, they want to round around and say, oh, I got my own relationship with God and whoop-de-whoop. I just be like, I keep trying to teach them, but they don't want to listen. So in that way, I'm doing what he says. I'm trying to help save people, but they don't want to listen. And just like doing this work, a lot of you Akim are out there trying to save people, but they don't want to listen. People don't believe in spiritual powers. I had told my mom that she was going to die, and it was like, I want to say like 6-7 years later, she ended up passing away, and the phone was ringing in the middle of the night. And I woke up, my wife's like, oh, your phone's ringing. I was like, yeah, I know, my mom just passed away. So I answered the phone, boom, my mom had passed away. So it's like, people don't believe that, these angels and stuff, we talk to these people, especially through dreams and visions. And it's like, I tell people, I don't even have to be asleep. Sometimes he'll just tell me something about somebody, or like, I'll be walking past somebody and our spirits will collide, like, you know what I mean? And I'll be like, that person's wicked, So, I just want to say, to you Akim out there keeping this word and truth, risking your body, because you really out there risking yourself. The word, before I thought, I was doing the work of the Most High, but I was following other camps until I found out about, really about GMS and stuff. And when people started punching me in the face over this truth and family and stuff, then I realized, I'm like, now I'm in the truth. Now I'm in the correct truth. When people started really hating me, because before they just be like, it's whatever, you keep trying to keep the Sabbath, they would talk mess. But when I started following the elders and apostles of GMS, following with Ariah and what's his name now? It used to be King Madu, but it's until Shiloh comes. And I started listening and talking to them and learning more and more. Man, the world like flipped over. And just like the Akim say over here at the Tempe camp, Mountains of Amath 144, they say friendship with the world is enmity to the Most High. And when you really in this truth, everybody try to get you to come out and party, try to get you to have fun. They against everything you say. They try to interrupt every word that come out your mouth, especially when you're talking about the truth of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. So, you just got to keep your faith, because your faith is that power. You know what I mean? There's been times when people want to attack me, and the Most High has got me out of some situations. He delivered me. And that's why when he say he deliver you in 6 times and 7 times so no evil touch you, man, I believe that with all my heart, all my mind, all my heart. Because, man, I've been in some situations where, Because sometimes, you know, you doing wicked stuff. Well, you know, I was still kind of doing a little bit of wicked stuff. And the Most High, like, that the dude from that Tempe camp had said, sometimes he separates you to keep you safe. You know, when he wants you to move, he gonna make you move, and it's gonna be theatrical. You know what I mean? It's the ones that don't listen, them the ones that's gonna get put to death. You know, cause he gonna make your situation worse. Cause with me, since I was a kid, if I don't do what he say when he want me to do something, the Most High he'll mess me up. Like if I if you talk like I get punishment right away. It ain't no years later. Like when I do something, he fuck me up right away. Like, and I mean fuck me up. Like I mean literally he fucked me up, you know, but he saved my life too a bunch of times. A bunch of times I should be dead. He just saved me. And I'd be like, it could be like, it ain't even just that though too. It'd be like I might be stuck in a situation. Boom. I think there might not be no way out or it look bad. Boom. He'll just deliver me like that. You know? So being alone, because I've been alone my whole life. So being alone don't mean you lonely, you know. You got to remember your best friend is Yahweh Shem Yahshai. You got to keep praying with him, talking with him. You can't leave him hanging, you know what I mean? If everybody inviting you to parties, they'll be like, hey, come to a party. You'll be like, yo, can I invite my father? If your father ain't welcome, then don't go. You know what I mean? And with that said, I just want to say, Kal Halal Yahweh Ba'ashem Mashiach Yahushai, Bahashem Harak HaKodesh, Brakatah Yahweh, Brakatah Yahushai, Brakatham.